So in the past few weeks, I've made a couple of videos about the return of Conor McGregor and how he has 2 fights left on his UFC contract. It does feel like they're deliberately keeping him on ice to stop him from fighting out that contract until they agree a longer-term deal, which is standard procedure for the UFC, and the impact that seems to be having on Conor McGregor mentally. We've always known that he dabbles in party activities, shall we say, and it felt like he was going deeper and deeper down that road due to his lack of athletic competition, which is what keeps him on the straight and narrow path, and even then it's pretty difficult. And it felt like the UFC didn't even care about the future of Conor McGregor after all he's done for that company. Since then, he has claimed, and Michael Chandler has also backed this up, that there is an agreement in place verbally that they're drafting up the documents now for Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor to take place in the UFC this summer. The problem is in all the promo that Conor McGregor's been doing, he's done a lot of interviews, and it's shown some things that make me concerned as to whether or not he should even come back to fighting. Should he actually be going to rehab before he even considers fighting? Now, let's look at the interview I'm talking about.
You have played a combat sports athlete before, southpaw, but...
Now, as you can see, Jake Gyllenhaal is present, he's in the room. Conor McGregor is somewhere else because his tongue is sitting there for a good few minutes.
This is a whole different game. What was that like for you?
It was great fun. I mean, he was, from the very beginning, Conor said to me, he was like, I'm a white belt in making movies and acting, and I'm here to learn.
You know, that it's just weird, isn't it? You can see his head's...
Conor, what did Jake bring to the table from the realism when it came to the fight game?
Jake's a consummate professional, 75 movies made.
That's a Ryan Garcia voice if you've ever heard one.
You know, I'm blessed to have entered into the movie alongside him. He was patient with me. He gave me guidance, and I just took it. You know, we had a good rapport on set. He has 75 movies made. I have 75 bar fights made. And that's it. We had a good back and forth.
All the twitching, the struggling to even connect one word into the next word, the constant blinking. This is the worst I've ever seen him. And we've seen him in some states now. But what we're seeing is getting worse, which means what he is doing is clearly getting worse. And look, there's no secret how drug addiction, acts. You start off enjoying it just a little bit and it feels great, and before you know it, you have to take more and more and more to achieve that level of high. And who can afford the most? A man with all the money that Conor McGregor's got. Let's just quickly look at a Conor McGregor interview from before the Dustin Poirier fight and look at the difference.
I was actually excited to maybe get in without the fans. I wanted to see my power translate with no fans, the sound of it. Because it's a unique sound, the 4-ounce glove clattering off the soft part of the face, especially my shots. So I was very eager to get in there.
It's just not even comparable. This is disturbing.
I sometimes had to remind him.
I landed one punch.
Once.
And he hit me with a door. Other than that, it was absolutely perfect.
That's true.
An amazing stunt team, Garrett Warden and Steve Brown. And they were phenomenal with us. They gave us free rein. And we've done a good job.
This is his press tour. Like, you're supposed to be doing a good job of selling the movie to people, and you're incapable of stringing sentences together here. So that means that you're incapable of controlling what it is that has control of him right now. And that means you've got a real problem. How do we then know he can just flick that switch for his fight camp and all of a sudden go from clearly abusing his body to such a degree where he can't stop twitching and can't even speak properly, to then be a fully focused, highly conditioned, highly trained A1 athlete, the best version of himself? How is that possible to go from one extreme to another? Conor McGregor may be one of the few people who can do that, right? And a lot of these fighters at this level, the twisted geniuses, they are all or nothing. They are 100 or 0. But Michael Chandler hasn't been abusing his body like that. Michael Chandler hasn't been living like this. That man is a conditioned, highly trained athlete who will be in the best shape of his life if possible. How is it possible for Conor McGregor to be doing this and then just do a fight camp and just be perfectly ready? As much as I want to see McGregor back in the octagon, I feel like he needs rehab and he needs to address he has an addiction. Like when I first mentioned this, people were saying, oh, it's just a one-off, he's having a good night, stop fucking grassing on him or what, you know what I mean? Like that was the attitude I was met with. But now there's dozens of videos and interviews of McGregor in states where you can tell he's not right. And now it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's not just a one-off. He has a problem. It's bad enough he's coming back off of this leg break. It's bad enough he's coming back off of, 3 years out of the octagon, let alone going into a fight camp in the midst of an addiction. There's always been this problem with McGregor of no one can fucking tell him what to do. But I tell you now, if he'd had someone like that in his life, this wouldn't be the fucking situation he was in.
You know, the fight scenes, I was happy to give my input and my oar. And Jake, as I said, is a consummate professional.
Wow.
We've done a good job.
The saddest thing is this was the best talker in the history of the fight game, outside of maybe Muhammad Ali. There's never been a better talker. Now it's like a loading page every time he wants to say the next word, man. My PlayStation 1 used to load faster than this guy's mouth right now. Like, it's so bad. And the truth is, he's hoping, look, I'll get back into fight camp and I'll be able to just not take anything because I'm going to be so focused on this fight and winning, I'll be able to control it. That's what he's convincing himself of right now. But you know the reality is, 2-3 weeks into that fight camp, when you do as much of the shit as he's clearly done, it's going to be whispering in his ear, Conor, you don't be really good right now. I'm telling you now, this is an addict. Jake Gyllenhaal must have been so embarrassed sat next to this guy while he's unable to speak properly. What he's doing to his co-star is embarrassing. But look, apparently he has a fight, so let's look at what he's got to say about that.
I'm very happy where I am now, Mike. The call has been made and we're a go. So, you know,
what does that mean? What does that mean? The call has been made.
This means this summer the Mac is back. So I'm happy with my time I've got in the lead up to it. I'm happy with where I'm at, and everything just works out in God's name.
In God's name. The UFC apparently have offered him the June 29th date, which was the original one he wanted. If that's the case, bearing in mind the states we've seen him in, he's got April, May, and all of June to get ready for this fight. A 3-month camp, if you've been staying active, could be enough. But if you're coming into camp where you've not been looking after your body right, and you're off the back of the leg break, and a 3-year layoff, this could be a fucking disaster if he's not ready.
I got great news the other day. I essentially got the news the other day, and I was like, boom, straight. I have a full scale octagon in my house, in my garden, my front garden, straight away. Some cat that's built like a NASCAR. His name is Lascar. I call him Lascar, the NASCAR. Check him out. He's a great fighter. I'm not sure exactly where he's from, but wrestler, freestyle, overhead slams, and all the rest of it. But straight away, boom.
On the one hand, he's not quite as bad as that fucking car wreck interview we've just seen. But on the other hand, he's still not acting the way he used to. I don't know if this is just him now, or if he's on something. It's fucking worrying either way.
I train all the time. I'm always training, and I was doing my camps. You saw the camps I had in Dubai with Loughnane and the lads out there. Got some great Kazakhstani wrestlers and all. So I had in Cannes as well. And then, nothing happens then, and I don't get a shout, and I just say, right, we'll just catch us later, lads, and then I kind of dip off my own self. So now I have it, and I got the sparring in, and onwards we go.
You know what? He does regularly spar people, and he always seems to be doing bits and bobs here and there, but he knows there's a difference between having the move around with lower level guys, and I've got a fight date, and I need to be getting 100% sparring in where we're going full tilt, and I'm getting absolutely prepared for this fucking bastard who's going to try and take my head off. It's a big difference between that while he's in the middle of his party life and just having the occasional spar and what he's about to go through.
Is this the one that we expected? Is this the one that you announced December 31st?
They'll announce in the UFC.
This is definitely not right. This is 4 days ago. He's got a fucking fight in the next 3 months, and he's barely able to speak properly. I've been wanting to see Conor McGregor back, and yeah, he said shit about me. I don't care. It'd be one of the best comebacks ever if he managed to come back after that leg break, 3 years out, and everything else, and won a fight. It would be great for fighting, and it would be nice to see. But do I think he's in any sort of shape to go and win a fight in 3 months' time right now? Do I fuck? Here's the thing, Michael Chandler, right? He's all right for McGregor. He's exactly what McGregor loves. He's a short fighter with an overhand who's over-aggressive, will come into the dead space. McGregor will lure him into traps and bounce his fucking head off the canvas. That's the old school McGregor. That's what McGregor would have done back in the day to Chandler. But this is new McGregor. A new McGregor hasn't looked anywhere near as good as old McGregor, and this is before years of inactivity. This is before a clear problem. So Michael Chandler back in the day would have been food for McGregor. Michael Chandler now might beat the shit out of him, and that's going to be sad, because we've seen the levels of Dustin Poirier versus McGregor early on were massive. McGregor got rid of him easy. Poirier worked hard, dedicated himself, lived a good life, and overcome McGregor's difference in skill. So if he can do that, Michael Chandler might have done it as well.
Do they want you to sign a new deal before this upcoming
There's no
fight?
talks about no deals.
So Dana White and the UFC have not even approached Conor McGregor to re-sign him. I'm shocked at that. Your biggest star, 2 fights left, you haven't even asked him about signing a new deal. This blows my mind.
There's been not an iota of a talk. Usually Lorenzo would have had something tasty on my plate well ago. Lorenzo would have probably fucking re-signed me 2 fights ago, maybe even.
You know what? Lorenzo Fertitta was the man. He was the real brains behind the UFC. And you can tell that because since he left and the new guys came in, the promotion don't care about putting the best fights on. Obviously, they're not clearly looking after their best stars. It's a mess now. And I've never been more disinterested in the UFC and more interested in boxing as what I am now. And Dana's letting it go to ruin. All he cares about is this bullshit reality TV show he does and stuff like that, man. It's like this organization is on the downturn big time, and losing Lorenzo Fertitta is one of the main reasons.
I mean, what way do you approach it? Like, how do we do? Because what's going to settle me? I'm a billion. I'm Mr. B, Ariel. Yeah.
The money that Conor wants, it's not going to be worth re-signing him. Probably they now need to cough up what they should have been paying him originally. But the value left in Conor McGregor's career, especially in the state he's in, probably not high. In my opinion, given the way he looks right now, it's not looking good. If he wins against Chandler, I'll be shocked. Everything is pointing to him getting starched. And this isn't me saying I want him to lose. I don't. I'd love him to win. Make for a hell of a story. But right now, I'm praying for him to get sentences strung together properly, let alone win fights. So this is where it's at now. I've gone from wanting Conor McGregor to return to now kind of being worried for his return and hoping for him to make an entry to rehab rather than the UFC, and where he can finally get the help he clearly needs, and then maybe after that come back to the UFC. But the circus is on now, so strap in, because I tell you now, the next 3 months are going to be fucking mental. I'll be surprised if Conor even makes it to the octagon, let alone wins. I mean, the state he's in, this is going to be a fucking circus, but one I'll not be able to look away from. I will be covering the run-up to McGregor's fight against Chandler, which looks like it's at the end of June. Let me know your thoughts. Can he do the impossible? And am I overestimating how bad this is, or are you guys all seeing it too? Let us know your thoughts. Hit that like button, stay subscribed to the Pain Game YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.